So my parents got me a credit card, and I got confused with the credit debt and the credit limit. Me and my boyfriend, me and my friends, we would go out, and I'm like, oh, I'll pay for everybody. I got it. I'll spend the money. Don't worry about it. It's just a credit card. So I would pay and pay and pay and pay, and then I called my mom one day, and I wanted her to be proud of me. So it's just like, hey, I've got $4,000 credit on my credit card, and she's like, credit limit or credit debt? I was like, what's debt?
This is what happens when you get a credit card without knowing the rules. This girl is 10k in debt and she doesn't even know what debt is. And the worst part, it's not even purely her fault. Why? Well, she failed herself, her parents failed her, and school failed her. How did she fail herself? Well, she should have never used something she doesn't understand. Her parents failed her because they shouldn't have allowed her to get something she doesn't understand that could ruin her future. And schools? Well, schools are supposed to prepare you for everyday life. And yet she doesn't know what an everyday item like a credit card is and how it works. In the end, schools are meant to mass produce mindless worker drones that just slave away. And nothing keeps you working at a job you hate more than the prospect of losing everything because of a debt you didn't pay back. So, before you swipe your first card in 2026, watch this video, because banks earn more when you are ignorant. The first stop? What even is a credit card? Well, it's a magic piece of plastic that gives you free money, right? At least the banks want you to think that. If you don't understand debt, then it might look like free money. But if you do, then you know they'll want that money back. And if you don't pay back the entirety fast enough, they'll want more. And not just a bit more. So, why are credit cards so dangerous? Banks want you to get a card before you're ready, so you become like that girl. You don't understand what you're doing, nor the repercussions of your actions. And so you screw yourself over for years to come. But how does that happen? Well, the answer is very simple. The interest trap is insane. When you borrow money with a credit card, they will want back more. And that money more they want back is called the APR. Or more simple, the interest rate. In the EU, an average credit card has an APR of about 15 to 25%, whereas store cards can get to 25 to 40%. In the US, the average is 20 to 29%, with store cards hitting 30 to 36%. Again, these numbers can vary. What does that mean? Simply said, if you borrow $100, then you will have to give back the 100 plus more. And the more is defined by the APR. Right? That is per year. So theoretically, if you borrow 100 at a 20% rate, after 1 year, you would have to pay back 120, if it were that simple. But that's a detail for later. When you borrow money via a credit card, you will always be giving a minimum payment. That can be 2 to 5%. The issue with that is the majority of that payment will be the interest, not what you actually borrowed. For example, let's say your minimum payment is $50, okay? But the majority, let's say $40 of that is interest, then only 10 is the actual money you borrowed. And as you can imagine, it will take a long time to pay it back. Let's take a real example. If you borrow $5,000 at a 20% APR and only pay minimum payments, it will take over 30 years to pay it off. And while you borrowed 5,000, you will have to pay over 10,000 in interest. That is how they make money off of you. But of course, that leads to the question, why would you pay only the minimum amount? It's simple. No one taught you otherwise. And that is a very cruel thing. Another thing is payment fatigue, because that is a real thing. Banks want you stuck in minimum payment hell, because that keeps you paying basically for forever. Like I said, you borrow 5,000, pay only the minimum, you pay over 10,000 in interest. And that is a psychological trick, because 100 a month as a rate seems a lot more, it seems doable, right? But you never actually pay back anything. And what's the result? You feel broke even when you actually earned good money. And you can add to that the even newer, more modern buy now, pay later, because that is another form of a credit card trap. In the EU, Klarna, PayPal Pay Later, Afterpay are exploding, and they are all marketed as interest-free. It's the same thing in the US, Affirm, Afterpay, Klarna, Zip. But what they never mention is the late fees and the missed payment, and suddenly high interest kicks in. And it's even worse if you chain multiple buy now pay later. That can easily snowball into a $1,000 to $5,000 debt, and you don't even notice it. Another thing about credit cards is the rewards. I'm sure you heard of them, the miles, the points, whatever. But those are a distraction. Cashback, miles, points, all of those sound great, right? But only if you pay back properly. On top of that, they are on purpose made hard to understand. I mean, what's 1 mile or point even actually worth? And don't forget, if you actually carry a balance, the interest you have to pay wipes out any benefits you get and then some. You see, banks actually count on 70 to 80% of people with a credit card to carry a balance, because that is where they make the real money. And there is another cost as well, the emotional and lifestyle one. You could call it the hidden tax. Debt hurts everything you do. It kills sleep, relationships, and motivation. In the end, you work harder just to pay the interest. You trade your hours of life for some CEO's profit. Because once you're in the cycle, it's hard to get out. And banks designed it that way. So, before you even sign up for your first card, you need to know what you're actually applying for. Let's look at a real card and break down every part so you don't get blindsided. What you see here is a simple credit card. That's roughly what you should expect. So, let's look at it, okay? This right here is your credit card number. This is what identifies your card. You'll always need this when you make payments. This bank name simply tells you from which bank it is. This is where usually the provider will be named. For example, Visa or MasterCard. Your name will be usually there on the card, identifying you as the owner. This date, is the month and year when your card goes invalid. It expires. You will get a new one before that. This expiration date can also be on the back. And the most important part are these 3 numbers here. They are called the CVV. They are basically the password to your credit card. This will always be on the back, and you should never share that with someone. Because what you usually need to make an online payment is the name of the credit card holder, the number, the expiry, and most importantly, the CVV. If someone has those 4 things, they basically can make an online payment using your card, even if they don't have the card. So, in the same way, let's take a look at an example credit card statement. First of all, you will always have your name, usually your address up here. From when it is and when you have to pay will be there, and how much you owe. Probably one of the most important things you want to remember. You will always have your transactions and from when they are for the month. So better keep an eye on those. Also very important is over here, that section, the account summary. So, why is it important? Because it tells you everything you need to know about your credit card payments. So, previous balance, of course, how much you had left to pay off, right? The purchases are how much you purchased newly. The cash advances are when you use the credit card at an ATM to get cash, right? Those usually have higher rates than the credit card itself. Interest and fees, of course, the interest, the APR, percent of how much you owed. The fees can be stuff like a monthly fee that's decided by the card, the specific card you hold and the company you are with. Other charges can be pretty much anything. Payments are how much you paid off, right? And of course the minimum payment. The current balance on this example statement is $4,100, right? And you would think 90, oh yeah, I can pay that. But can you really? Because look down here. This is where the interest rates are given. As you can see, cash advances have a higher rate than interest. Fees are pretty damn high with 22% and purchases have 22%. But the important part is this daily interest rate. What does that mean? Well, you get the daily rate if you simply divide the annual rate by 365. But this thing is vicious. You might think, well, 22 is 22, regardless whether you pay it once a year or divide it down on a day. But you're wrong. Because if you pay 0.06% interest on day one, you also pay interest on the interest. That is why your debt will always keep going up if you don't pay. Day by day it rises. That is why it is so cruel. Because you don't pay once a month or once a year, you pay it every day. It goes up exponentially. The more you have, the higher it gets. Now that you know what to expect with a credit card and a statement, I'll share you some more big risks. First of all, never share the 3-digit number, the CVV, you'll find at the back of the card, even with trusted sites. Never give your full credit card number, name and expiry date over phone and email unless you're 100% sure it's legit. In the same way, you know phishing. Fake bank emails or texts ask you to verify your card. Delete those immediately or you'll get scammed. And of course, free trial sites. They ask for your card for shipping or the like. You never receive anything except costs. Or they charge you every month. So you have to protect yourself. One example for that is virtual cards. You charge those, one time use them, and then they cease to exist. Some banks offer them, for example, Revolut or Wise. Set some spending alerts. For example, I don't know, $500 a day. If something fishy happens using your card, you'll be aware of it and you can stop it before it's too late. Or, of course, when you know you won't use the card for some time, you can freeze it. This isn't cancelling it, but it just won't be active unless you reactivate it, which will protect you from scams. Many EU banks allow this in the app. I'm not sure about the US, but it's worth a try. And aside from the risks, some more things you should be aware of before you apply. First of all, the APR versus the introductory rate. I'm sure you're aware of that with, I don't know, internet providers. Oh, only $9.99 for the first 6 months and then only $99.99 the rest of the time, written in small print. It's the difference between promotional prices and the actual ones you pay. For example, a credit card might offer you 0% for the first 6 months of APR, only to then blast you to 30%. Of course they write this in the small print, but you have to be aware of that. So don't just apply willy-nilly. And as I mentioned already, the rewards versus traps. Cashback and miles sound nice, but they're just to lure you in. They're bait. They're nice, but only if you pay in full every month. And if you think, I want a card, but I'm not quite ready yet, I don't trust myself, consider a debit card with a high-yield savings account. Now, what's the difference between a credit card and a debit card? Basically, a credit card gives you credit, meaning you can borrow money, whereas a debit card only allows you to use the money you have on your account. If it's zero, personally I think it's safer, but to everyone their own. So, how do you actually use a credit card without getting screwed? First of all, if you do use it to pay, you pay back the money every month in full. That way you avoid interest and screwing yourself over. Second, set up autopay. At least for the minimum, so you don't screw yourself over extra hard, preferably extra, so you take a chunk out of the principal. If you have a credit card and you want to use it only for budgeted purchases. For example, groceries or rent. Money you know you have that you had to spend anyway. Not on impulse purchases. Yes, that $300 designer jacket might look nice, but if you don't have the money, you can't afford it. Simple as that. And for better credit rates, consider building your credit score. I will make a video on this topic separately, so I'll just give an example now. One option is becoming an authorized user on a family member's credit card, for example a parent. That way, each payment made via that credit card will have a small positive impact on your credit score when it's paid off in full. So, to recap, credit cards aren't evil. They're just a tool, like any other. But use them wrong and you become the bank's favorite customer because you make them rich. Use them right and you build credit and rewards. But if you already screwed up and you are in debt, watch this video right here to learn how to actually pay it off successfully. Comment card if you get your first card soon. Debt if you kind of screwed up and already have debt. Or pass if you thought about it and just don't really need one or aren't ready yet. Otherwise, sub for more real talk money moves. See you.